Hey guys, my name is Em and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I am so excited about today's video because it is my favourite video to film. It is a 24-hour readathon vlog and I just can't wait. It has been so long since I've done a 24-hour readathon and I really miss them. I'm so excited to do this one today and I'm feeling motivated. I'm feeling like I can succeed in this readathon, so I'm very excited to take you along with me as I read for the next 24 hours straight. Of course, I'm doing this readathon with my amazing bestie Lucy from Library of Lucy. I will tag her down in the description box. We always do readathons together and lately we've not been very successful with them. Like, we will have such good intentions and then we just never really succeed. But I have high hopes for this weekend. I feel like reading a lot. I don't have any plans, so I'm excited. I can't wait and I think it's gonna be really fun. I don't really have like a set TBR because honestly I've just been mood reading when I've been reading at all. I haven't really been reading much lately over the past couple of months, as you've probably noticed by the fact that like there's been like literally no content or anything like that, because I've just been busy and enjoying life and enjoying my summer, and I literally have a month left before I go to college, so I've been just trying to enjoy as much of that as I possibly can. So I don't really have like a set TBR for this weekend just because I don't want to like put pressure on myself and I don't know what book I'm going to want to be in the mood for. But I have 3 books here that I'm going to show you that I potentially will get through, but I may change my mind once I finish like the first book. One of them I am currently reading, so that is the one that I'm going to start the readathon with. That much I know, but after that I honestly really don't know what I'm going to be in the mood for, so I could change my mind or I could stick with these books. We have yet to see. But let me show you the 3 books right now that I have on my potential TBR. So the first book is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This is actually the book that I'm currently reading and I'm quite close to the end. Like, I honestly do not have that much left of the book, so this is going to be the one that I'm going to start reading when the readathon begins and just literally just read it until I finish it. I don't think it should take me too long. Like, I feel like it should take me like just over an hour potentially. I don't know, we'll see, but I don't think it should take me too long, so I'm going to start with this book. I'm really enjoying this book, but I'll give you more of my thoughts when the readathon begins and when I finish this book. Then potentially I kind of want to pick up Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. This book has been on my TBR for a while and really I just want to read it so that I can read Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, because that one is just so high up on my TBR and I know I'm gonna love it, but I want to read this one first because I've seen a few people saying that you should read Part of Your World, then this one, then Just for the Summer, and I know you don't have to technically, but I kind of want to, so that's what I'm gonna do. So I kind of want to read this one. Also, I feel like it could be a fairly fast read and I could get it on my Kindle as well so that I can like read it kind of a bit faster. But yeah, I feel like this could be a potential, but I don't know if I'm going to be in like a romance mood, so we're gonna have to see with this one. And then finally we have The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. If I'm feeling a thriller, if I'm feeling like reading something quick, fast and easy, this might be the one that I go through. Also, this is a library book and it is well overdue. Like, I really need to return my library books. That like entire shelf up there is library books that I need to return, so that's kind of bad. Thank God they got rid of fines. Anyways, this is definitely on my radar for reading soon, even if I don't get to it in this readathon, because he literally just released his newest book and I really want to read that one as well. So, and I always fly through Riley Sager books, like literally I will fly through this book, I'm sure. Yeah, that is the 3rd option. I don't know how many books I will manage to get through during this readathon. I just want to read, I want to have a good time, I want to enjoy reading. Of course I'm going to be like FaceTiming Lucy and we're going to be reading together, which is so fun. So yeah, it's currently 7:36 in the evening and this readathon is starting at 8 p.m. I kind of prefer to start readathons in the morning, but I was working all day today. I'm really excited for this readathon. I'm going to start with this book. I'm currently on page 434 out of like 580 something, I think, so I don't have that much left in this book. And yeah, welcome to the vlog, guys. I really hope you enjoy and I'll come back to you when the readathon begins. Hi vlog.
Hi vlog.
Are we ready to read, Lucy?
The idea's there.
The idea's there. We have the motivation.
Will come.
It will, yeah, the vibes will follow.
Yes,
exactly. What book are you starting with?
The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going with The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This is iconic. I can't wait for our next in-person readathon. That was
yes.
I say next as if we've done that before, but we shall do it today. Oh, question mark. Oh. It is 8:56. I don't know if you can see. Please focus. 8:56. We're almost an hour into the readathon and I've read a good bit. I actually forget the page that I started on. I can't remember, but I'm now on page 489, so I've definitely made some decent progress. And I feel like the rest of this book is just gonna fly because literally like it's the wrap up of this big like 600-page fantasy, so I feel like this is going to be really intense and there's going to be a lot going on and it's going to be very fast paced, but I'm very excited. I can't wait. They're just about to like enter like the final trial and I feel like something very heartbreaking is going to happen. Like I feel like it's going to end on a cliffhanger and I feel like it's going to have like a twist that I'm not going to enjoy. I have an inkling of what's going to happen vaguely, but I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like it is. But anyways, I'm going to read the rest of this. I am going to take a quick break because I'm about to make dinner because I'm really hungry. So I'm going to make my pasta and then I'm going to keep reading. My goal is to finish this book by 11, and I know that like that probably won't even take me that long, but just because I'm like taking my break for dinner, I'm going to give myself to 11 and then I'm going to start another book, hopefully go to bed at a reasonable time because I want to get up really early tomorrow and like read all of tomorrow. It's now 10:19. Misty! Okay, I've now switched to reading on my Kindle because I wanted to lay down and Misty clearly wants to lay down with me, but I wanted to read while laying down because I've literally been in work all day and I've done so much this week. Like I've literally socialized and done something every single day this week, including the days that I was working, so I'm kind of just really tired. So I'm just gonna chill. I'm just gonna lay down, read on my Kindle, finish this book and then possibly go to bed. We'll see. Good morning besties. It is now just after 11 AM on Sunday and I did not read as much as I wanted to last night. I was literally reading on my Kindle. I decided last night that I was going to lie down and read on my Kindle because I was getting kind of tired and I thought that that would be a good idea to keep me reading, except I ended up reading like 2 more chapters and I fell asleep. So I didn't read as much as I thought I would last night, but I'm 90% of the way through this book. I'm on chapter 50. In the paperback that's page 515 and there's like 560 pages or something, so I really don't have that much to read. So I'm literally just going to sit and finish this book right now and then start another book. I don't know what I'm going to be in the mood for. We'll make that decision when we come to it. I do have the last little bit of my coffee here. I'm going to finish that and read the rest of this book. I have just finished my first book of this 24-hour readathon. I have just finished The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent and I really liked this book. Like I really liked this book. I didn't have like the highest hopes for it. Fantasy romance isn't necessarily a genre that I would say I read a lot of. Like I genuinely really don't. YA fantasy I did read a lot of in the past. I haven't really been reading much this year. I haven't really been reading much of it lately or like this year, but it is something that I have read a lot of in the past and they've all had romance in them, but I don't typically tend to read like fantasy romance books. But I feel like that might change because I genuinely loved this book so much. I think it was really well written. I think that the characters were amazing, the plot was amazing, the pacing was really good. Because like this is a thick book, like this is nearly a 600-page fantasy book, I did think it would like be a bit slow or like drag a little bit, and it really didn't. Like it went really quickly and like it didn't feel boring at all, and like this was like a slow burn book, but it didn't feel like that. Like it didn't feel like dragged out or anything, which I really appreciated because I'm kind of only getting back into reading and like getting more used to putting reading into my routine again. So I thought that this would like be very difficult to get through, but it wasn't. I know that this book did take me like 10 days to read. Like I literally started reading this on the 9th of July and now it's the 21st of July. But that's purely a me thing. Like I've not had time to read at all. But like the times that I was actually reading it, I read it quite quickly and it didn't take me that long to get through at all. I think I'm going to rate this book a 4-star. Could have potentially been a 5 had I read it a bit quicker, but because this did take me like 10 days to read, I kind of forget the beginning of the book and I forget how I felt at the beginning of the book. However, that's purely on me and not the book, but I think 4 is still like a very good rating. I really liked the characters, I really liked the plot, like the political intrigue, like the world building, everything was really good. And for me personally, books about like trials and like games and stuff are fairly hit or miss. Like the last one that I remember reading is Powerless by Lauren Roberts, and if you remember me reading that book, I hated it. I ended up DNFing it. Like I literally hate that book with a burning passion. I just don't like it at all. So that kind of turned me off reading like these books about like trials and games and stuff, because I feel like they were just trying so hard to be a mixture of like The Hunger Games and Throne of Glass, and like just not hitting the mark. However, this one I'm very glad I gave a chance to, because it was so good. It was amazing, and I'm actually really excited to see how things progress in the second book, because I feel like it's actually set up quite well for the next book, and it doesn't feel like we've already achieved everything out of it. You know when you read like some fantasy books and you're like, okay, this could be a standalone? I don't feel that with this book. I feel like this was actually just like setting up for the second book, and like the second book is going to be quite different, I feel like, because it's not going to be about the same thing and the world is going to be quite different. So I'm very excited for the second book. I think I mentioned in this vlog, or maybe it was my last vlog, that I kind of had an inkling of what trope was going to be at the end of this book, and it's a trope that I absolutely hate. And like when it's in a book, I don't typically tend to enjoy that book, and it does take the rating down quite a bit for me. And I kind of knew all throughout this book this is what's going to happen at the end. I didn't know in what way or in like how it would happen, but I knew that this trope would kind of be in here, and it was. But I weirdly really liked it. Like I think that it was done really well. It's actually probably the best that I've seen this trope done. Like I actually really enjoyed reading it, because it didn't feel, sometimes with the betrayal trope it can feel like you've just read like 500 pages and then this trope happens, and then like it literally undoes everything that you've gone through of the past 500 pages. However, I don't think that that's how this book felt. It kind of felt like it was there, but it just like added so much intrigue and added like a shock factor, and it wasn't like a betrayal in the way that I don't like it, in a way that like, oh, I've been pretending this whole time, because I hate that so much, because I feel like that's just like an internalized fear that like you're gonna fall in love with someone and then at the end they're gonna be like, haha, jokes, like literally didn't like you at all. I hate when that happens. So the betrayal trope wasn't in that way. It was in like a very, so the way that this trope was done actually like furthered the plot and really set up well for the next book, and made me so excited to read the next book. Also kind of like brought back that like enemies era, which I love a good enemies to lovers. I love a good like I hate you trope. But yeah, I really liked how that was done, and I'm really excited for the second book. I kind of want to read the second book right now. So yeah, that was my first book of the readathon done, and now we have the difficult decision of picking my next read. I always struggle to pick what book I want to read next, because I feel like, because I'm such a mood reader, I need to pick the book that is like the exact mood that I'm feeling, and I kind of don't end up reading anything until I hit the nail on the head and like find the exact book that I'm looking for. So now I don't know what book to read. I'm kind of still in a fantasy romance mood and like in a fantasy mood. However, I don't really want to start like into a new fantasy romance, because I'm already kind of in this world, and I do actually want to read the sequel of this very, very soon. I'm also feeling so tired, like unbelievably tired, and I don't know why, because I actually got like so much sleep last night, but I think it's just because for like the past like week I've done something every single day, and I've had like a late night every single night, and even the days that I'm working I've done stuff after work until like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm so exhausted. So I feel like I'm just more like exhausted tired than like actually like sleepy tired, but I kind of want to wake myself up a bit. So I think what I'm going to do is take a brief pause, not too much of a break, but I'm going to take a brief pause because I have to hang out laundry, because my mom gave me a few jobs to do while she's at work today, because I'm at home the whole day. So I need to hang out my laundry, I need to do my dishes, I need to tidy up my room a bit because I have someone coming over tomorrow, and then I think I'm gonna pick my next book and sit outside and read it, because I feel like that might wake me up a little bit. It's not overly warm today, but I feel like just even getting a bit of fresh air might wake me up a bit. It's currently like nearly 1 p.m. and I think my best friend is coming over this evening. She finishes work at 7 and she works like a bit away, so she might be coming over about 8 or after. I'm not really sure, but I think she might be coming over because she's away for the next like 2-3 weeks and we won't get to see each other. So she might be coming over, we might be going somewhere or something, I don't know. But I definitely do want to start another book. I know I said earlier that I might start Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, but I'm not sure if I'm feeling a romance right now. I feel like I'm feeling a fantasy book. I don't know, we're gonna have a think, we're gonna have to come back, and I kind of want to just like give myself a minute after finishing this book to like think about it and like reflect on it and like process it, and then I'll move on to my next book. But yeah, that is all I have to say for right now, and I'll come back to you later. Okay, so I've just taken like a quick break to do the things that I needed to do, and now I'm trying to pick my next read. I've literally just spent like the last like 10 minutes just looking at my shelves and like taking down books and like reading the backs of them and looking at different books that I have and deciding which ones I want to read, because I end up reading nothing when I don't know what book to pick. And I think it's because I'm in such a fantasy mood and such a fantasy romance mood, but the one that I want to read is the sequel to The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which I could start on my Kindle, but like I don't really want to. I feel like I want to wait for the physical copy. But this is a readathon, so I can't wait for the physical copy because it's not coming till Tuesday, and that defeats the purpose of a readathon. So I've narrowed it down to these 3 books that I potentially want to read, but now that I'm looking at them, I don't want to read any of them. So the first book is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I know I'm going to love this book so much, and I've decided that I don't want to read Yours Truly right now. A few topics in that book is not really something that I want to be reading right now. I think it's going to make me a little bit upset basically, and I don't want that right now. So I've decided to just skip straight onto this. Also did not realize that the main girl in this book is called Emma, so this literally kind of might feel like reading my own love story, and I'm kind of in the middle of my own love story right now. So then the other option is Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. I've read 2 Carly Fortunes now, Every Summer After, and then I read This Summer Will Be Different. I've liked both of them. I've not like been obsessed with them, but I've liked them and they've been solid, and that's kind of honestly what I'm kind of looking for right now, because I do ideally want to finish this book between today and tomorrow. Don't think that's going to be possible actually, but maybe, you never know. I do also have a train journey Tuesday that I could try and like finish my book on, and then I could read the Ashes and the Star-Cursed King when I come home from Dublin on Tuesday. But we'll see. Like this one is quite short. This one's only 305 pages, so this actually could be quite a strong contender. Like I know with this one that I'm gonna love it so much, so I don't want to like rush it, but I feel like with this one, like it's just a book. I don't think this is gonna be like life-changingly amazing, but I do think I do want to read it, maybe, potentially. I don't know, we'll see. But then my third option is Light Lark by Alex Astor, which is a fantasy book, but I am feeling a fantasy book right now. And this one though does kind of have the same premise as The Serpent and the Wings of Night, which could be a good thing or could be a bad thing. I'm not really sure, because this is basically about trials again. I actually had no idea what this book was about, but at the back it says, "Welcome to the Centennial. Every 100 years the island of Light Lark appears for only 100 days to host a deadly game where the rulers of 6 realms fight to break their curses and win unparalleled power. Each ruler has something to hide. Each curse is uniquely wicked. To break them and save themselves and their realms, one ruler must die. To survive, Isla Crown must lie, cheat and betray, even as love complicates everything." Kind of sounds good, kind of sounds similar to the book that I just read. And sometimes it's not a good idea to read similar books back to back, because you can subconsciously kind of compare them in your head, even if you don't want to, but like you subconsciously are like, oh, like this didn't happen in this book or something. So I don't know, we'll see. I think I'm going to try read a chapter of this, because this one would be ideal to read. And then if I'm not feeling it, like if I'm really not feeling it, I'm not going to push myself to read something that I'm not feeling. So I'll read a chapter of this, see if I'm getting into it. If I'm not, then I think I'm just going to embrace the fantasy mood and either pick up this or pick up another fantasy or fantasy romance, because honestly, who am I to deny myself a good old fantasy romance? So yeah, but right now I'm gonna go start this. Then I think I'm gonna make some lunch, and then this evening my best friend's picking me up. We're going to run a few of her errands. Honestly, me and my best friend could do anything together and I would enjoy it. Like, I don't care. Like, we could be watching paint dry, we could be doing grocery shopping. We've gone grocery shopping together, but like we just want to be in each other's company. It doesn't matter what we're doing, which is kind of goals. And then we're going to go back to her house and she's going to scrapbook because she's making something for her sister's birthday, and then we're going to watch a movie as we do that. And I might even bring my book, because if she's scrapbooking I might read. We'll see, I don't know. But I'm going to start this book right now, read like the first like chapter or two, see if I'm vibing with it, and I will get back to you. I'll let you guys know. It is now 4 p.m. and I'm going to give you a reading update because I finally decided on a book, and I have read the first like 40 pages and I feel like this could be a new favorite book, and I feel so excited by that fact, because like, you know when you like instantly start a book and you just fall in love with it? This is how I feel with this book. So I was like deciding between those 3 books, and I was gonna read Meet Me at the Lake, but then I was like, the book that I really want to read is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, and I feel like I was just saving this book for like the perfect moment. But I feel like, why would you save something that you're gonna enjoy? Just enjoy it now. So I just decided to pick this book up, and I have already read the first 40 pages and oh my god, I feel like this could be my new favorite book. You know when you just pick up a book and you're just instantly in love with it? That is how I feel about this book, and I've not felt that in a long time. I feel like this book is just lover era incarnate, and as I've said before, I am currently in my lover era, and like this, the main character has my name, so naturally like this book is about me. I can actually relate to this right now, which is very unusual. But yeah, I've just reached chapter 4, which is page 40. Also, I don't know if you can see, but Misty is just chilling in the background right there. Oh, she's so cute. I feel like I could easily sit and like read this entire book right now, but I actually can't do that because I have plans with my best friend. She was actually supposed to be finishing work at 7, so we weren't going to do something until about like 8, but it's 4 p.m. and she just texted me that she got out of work really early, so I have literally got to speed get ready because I wanted to wash my hair before we meet up because I have plans tomorrow evening, but I have work tomorrow, so I won't get a chance to wash my hair tomorrow. And I just know that when me and my friend meet up, like we're always saying like, oh, we'll meet up for like 2 hours, and then we end up like staying for like hours and hours and just can't shut up. So I'm gonna wash my hair right now and then I'm gonna go meet up with her, and if I do get a chance to read some more this evening, I will do that. But otherwise I'm just having such a good time with this book and I would highly recommend it already. Hi besties. Okay, so it is now Tuesday evening and I feel like this readathon has failed. I just don't know why I can't manage to succeed in a 24-hour readathon for the past couple of months. But honestly, it's fine. I did manage to finish a book. I did manage to start another book and I'm loving both of the books that I've been reading. But I kind of don't want to end this vlog because I feel like this vlog actually has potential. It's just way too short to be an actual vlog. So I think I'm just going to turn this into just like a chill reading vlog or like a weekly reading vlog or whatever. So I do actually have an update on Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I love this book so much, guys. Like, you literally have no idea. This book is so good. Like, this book is so good. I can't even describe it. This is perfection. Like, the way that love is portrayed in this book is incredible, and it's just everything. Like, I just really love it, and I can't even describe it too much because I feel like you nearly shouldn't know anything going into this book. I'd say that it is hard hitting. Like, I would potentially say that like there are like other things going on as well as the romance and as well as like the plot and stuff, which makes it so much more believable and makes these characters feel so much more real. But the way that they interact with each other, the way that they like love each other is incredible and amazing, and honestly is setting the standard. I actually managed to read a lot of this today because, as I said, today's Tuesday and I ended up going up to Dublin today to visit Sophia. We had an amazing day. We went for brunch and then we just went around to a few shops, and we did go to a few bookshops. I didn't buy anything, which is kind of crazy because I'm trying not to buy books that I'm not going to immediately read because I've not been like reading that many books lately. So I knew that like I was in the middle of this one and then I want to read the sequel to The Serpent and Wings of Night, so I knew that I wasn't going to get to any books that I bought today for like a couple of weeks at least. So I was like, no, let's just not buy a book. But I actually managed to read a lot of this book on the train today, which was so fun, and I'm now up to page 184, so I'm like nearly halfway through this book. I feel like I could read another little bit tonight potentially, probably not that much because I am quite tired, and then potentially finish it tomorrow and start a different book then on Thursday because I'm off on Thursday. So potentially that might be what I do. But yeah, that is my update on this book, but I also have a little haul for you, so let me give you a haul. Okay, so first and foremost, of course, we do have a book. I'm sure you all know exactly what this book is, but we're going to open it together anyways. So the book is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. This is the sequel to The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This book's actually kind of damaged, but anyways, we move. I'm very excited to read this book. I did put on my Instagram the other day that I finished reading The Serpent and Wings of Night, and a lot of you swiped up saying that you've also read it and that you loved it, but nearly everyone said that they didn't like the sequel quite as much. Like, there was a few people that said that they really didn't like it, but others said that they liked it but it just wasn't as good. So I'm kind of a little bit scared, but also I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna see how I vibe with it. I could like it, I don't know, like Lucy liked it, so I don't know, but nonetheless I'm very excited to read this book. It is a thick book, guys, but I'm definitely in my fantasy romance era, so I'm actually really excited to read this. I think I'm gonna finish this one as soon as I possibly can and then immediately start into this book. It's now Wednesday night and I've been reading. I have been reading. I was in work today, so obviously I didn't get to read anything until I got home, but I started on page 185, chapter 20. I downloaded it on my Kindle, by the way, because I feel like I read a bit quicker on my Kindle and I felt like reading while laying down. So trusty Kindle. I honestly do not know what I would do without my Kindle. Like, I love my Kindle so much. But yeah, so I've been reading and I read 10 chapters. So I'm now on page 262, so I read like 80 pages, which I think is really good because I haven't actually sat down and read a lot of a book in a while, so that's really good. I'm quite far the way through. I feel like once I reach like over the halfway point, I'm practically finished the book, and I know that's not true, but I kind of feel like it is. And I could 100% sit and finish this book right now. Like I do not want to stop reading, but I have to be up early in the morning for a driving lessons, and it's already 1 AM, so I feel like I should stop reading right now and go to bed and try finish this tomorrow. But I just love this book so much. much. Like, I literally love this book so much. I feel like this book, it has just like the perfect balance of being like a fun like romance rom-com wholesome book, but like also has such a hard-hitting element and has like so much emotional depth to it and so much to the characters and to their lives, and discusses so much about like their traumas and like their things that they've been through and like their life situation. Just love that, because I love a romance book that is not just a romance book, like a book that has emotional depth, because I just think that that's so good and I just love reading about that. The amount of things that I've underlined in this book is actually a little bit insane. Like, I was reading on my Kindle and I highlighted so many things because I just love them. Like, Miss Abby Jimenez knows how to write a book, I'll say that much. But yeah, I'm gonna stop reading reluctantly and go to bed. I think I'll try finish this book tomorrow. Hi besties. Okay, it is time for a reading update because I have finally finished Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, and oh my god, I loved this book so much. 5 stars immediately. Like, this was probably one of the easiest 5 stars that I've ever given. It is such an emotional book, it is such an impactful book, it is such a complex, it's so much more than just like a romance, like summery rom-com vibe book, but also there's such a good romance in this book. Like, I just can't even describe to you how much I love this book, how much I love these characters, how much I like just feel for this book. And also, like, I think that I read this book at the perfect time because this is literally a love story and I relate to it right now, and I think that that's just so wholesome. I just love this book so much. I honestly don't even know what else I can possibly say about it. There was one quote at the end that literally had me tearing up. Like, I actually feel kind of emotional after finishing this book, which obviously means that it was amazing, because for a book to have like an emotional impact on you is definitely a really, really good sign. And this is a book that's going to like 100% like stick with me and stay in my mind. So yeah, I'm just so glad that I read this. I would highly recommend. I know earlier in the vlog I was saying like, you don't have to read the first 2 beforehand. There's actually a lot of crossovers from the first 2 books, so I probably would recommend reading them before. If you don't care too much, don't worry about it. I would say specifically the first book in particular, but then I haven't read the second book, so maybe I didn't pick up on the ones from the second book as much, but I would say it ties in quite a lot with Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, especially a part towards the end that will like make a lot more sense if you've read the book. I don't think you necessarily have to. You will understand this book. This is not like anything crazy, it's just that you will appreciate it a little bit more if you've read the other 2. But yeah, I just love this book so much. I can't believe how much I love this book. I can't believe how amazing it was. I can't believe I waited so long to read this frickin' book. Yeah, 5 out of 5 stars, would highly recommend. So happy that I read it. And it was another book finished in July. I can't remember if that's 2 or 3 books that I read in July. I think it's 3, but I am off the next 3 days, so I feel like I could potentially read another book in July. So I'm just gonna have to think about which book I want to read, because I was gonna pick up Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, but I don't think I'll finish that in 3 days. So I'll have a think about it, let this book sink in, and I'll get back to you guys later. Good morning and happy Monday. I did end up picking up The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King yesterday. I know that the last time I updated you, I wasn't sure what book I was going to pick up next, but I think this is the one that I want to pick up. It is long and it is a fantasy book. So I know I was saying that I think I might finish another book in July. I probably won't, because I don't think I can read this in 3 days. Today is literally the 29th, so I really don't think I can finish it. But that's fine, because honestly, quality over quantity. And like, this is the book that was on my TBR, and this is the book that I feel like reading right now. So I think I'm going to pick this up. I might potentially pick up a romance as well, because we do currently have like a bit of a heat wave. And I've said this before, but I love sitting outside in my garden and just reading when there's a heat wave, and it just adds to the vibe if I'm reading a romance. But there's no romance that's like currently speaking to me, so I might just continue with this. I did start it last night, but I honestly didn't read that much. I think I read like to chapter 2 honestly, and I was reading on my Kindle too because I was very tired. I got to page 18, so that's literally as far as I got, and then I fell asleep because I was working yesterday, and then I had dinner when I came home, and I read and I finished my book. Then at 8 p.m. I went out with my best friend. We just went for a little spin. She had some jobs to do in town, so I just said I'd accompany her, because it doesn't even matter what me and my best friend are doing, like we just want to be in each other's company. So we did that, and then we went on a little walk and a little drive and a little chit chat and stuff. But by the time we got home it was quite late and I was quite tired, so that's why I only read 1 chapter. I am off today. I do have a few things that I would like to get done, but apart from those things, I would really like to read more of this book, and I'm really excited. If I do end up changing my mind and picking a different book, I will let you guys know, but I am quite excited to read this. I've heard pretty mixed reviews about this book. Everyone that I've spoken to kind of says that they didn't like it or that it's not as good as the first one, but already I'm kind of liking it, so I don't know, we'll just see how it goes. Okay, so I told you that I was picking up the sequel to The Serpent and Wings of Night, but then I remembered that there's actually a novella in this series called Six Scorched Roses, and apparently you're supposed to read that between the two of them. So I put this book on pause right now to read the novella, because I was like, if you're supposed to read it in between the two, I definitely want to do that. Like, I know with novellas, like it's not like crucial to the story, but also I feel like if I'm going to enjoy the book more having read this, then I might as well just read this. So I've been reading this for the evening. I didn't actually read that much because I ended up doing some other things, and I ended up taking like a 3-hour nap today, I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah, so I started Six Scorched Roses and I'm 37% of the way through this book. It's a 200-page book. I feel like I will be able to finish it fairly quickly. I'm on page 72 and so far I'm really liking it. Like, I do think it's a good book. Not sure what the relevance is just yet. It seems like it's taking place like a few hundred years before the events of the first book, and I'm kind of guessing that the events of this book are going to be important to the plot in the second book. So yeah, I've just been reading that. I am going to go to sleep right now. I'm not going to read any more this evening because it's already 1:30 in the morning, but I am going to try and just finish this book tomorrow, and then I'll decide whether I'm going to go straight on to the sequel or whether I'm going to read another book in between. But yeah, that is my update for right now, besties. Okay, I actually can't remember if I've already given this update or not, but I don't think I have. So the other day I finished Six Scorched Roses on my Kindle and I really liked this book. I think it was so good. It was probably one of the best novellas that I've ever read, because it's very rare that like a novella makes you feel the same as a normal length book would, and like makes you enjoy it just as much as you would enjoy like a normal length book. But that's exactly what happened with this book. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed it just as much as I liked the first one. I gave it a 4 stars. Honestly, probably close to a 4.5, but I'm okay with giving it a 4 because I gave the first book a 4.5, so that kind of makes sense. But I really liked it. I did kind of going into it think that it would be about characters that we'd already read about in the first book. It's not, so I wouldn't say like it's an essential book to read. And like, I even asked Lucy, who's read all 3 books, like, is it like essential to read? Like, are these characters going to like be really important in the next book? And she said no, like they are in the second book. Basically, like, this novella was about these 2 characters that's going to appear in the second book, and the novella was basically their origin story. So she said like you just kind of enjoy their presence in the second book a bit more, knowing what you know from the novella. But I also think it's probably going to have some more relevance because there was a lot of talk about like curses and like history and stuff of like this world, and like the 2 kind of like, I don't know what you'd even call them, but like the 2 like sides of like this war and like the vampires and stuff. So basically that's that, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 stars, loved it so much. And immediately after finishing that book I decided to pick up 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, and I was like, this is like a short enough book. It's like under 300 pages. I was like, I can read this easy in like a couple of hours. Guys, I swear to God, like I was sat reading for like 3 hours and I got to page 66. Like, I don't know what it is, I just can't get into literary fiction. And like, I know that this book is going to be good, I know that the story is going to be impactful, I know all of this, but I just can't focus on the writing style, and I just can't get into like literary fiction writing style at all. And I don't know why, because like I even tried to like download it on my Kindle to see if that would help, and I just can't get into it. I don't know why. I really want to read this book and I really want to get into it, but I'm just not enjoying it. And because I've just gotten out of a slump, I don't want to push myself. But also now that I've started it, I'm like, Emma, just push through and like finish this book, because I'm very much so now like a non-DNFer, just kind of like a read one book at a time, you start it, you finish it type girl, even though I didn't used to be. But I fear I cannot finish this book right now. And then this morning I was like trying to come up with my August TBR, because it's August now, by the way, it's the 2nd of August, and I'm probably going to end this vlog this weekend. Honestly, I don't know how long this has been going on for, I don't know when it will be up, but yeah, I was like going through like books that I wanted for my August TBR. Basically the only book that I want to read right now is this. Like, this is literally the only book that I want to read, and I keep like putting it off and like telling myself like, no, like don't get into this book right now because it's so big and I want to read so many books this month. And I know that if I pick up like a 700-page fantasy, I'm not going to read as many books, but like this is the book that I want to read and I want to know where it goes, and I'm so invested in the characters and the plot and everything. So I feel like I'm just gonna end up picking up this book and reading this book, and that's just what we're gonna do. But I did also buy a book. Also, this is the smallest Amazon package I think I've ever seen. Like, it fits the book perfectly. I also did not know that the book was this small, but anyways. So the book is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I can't even remember who I saw reading this book right now. It could have been Emmy from Emmy Rossum, but I'm not sure if it was. Basically, I saw someone reading this book and raving about this book, and it made me want to read it. And it's a fantasy book. It's a fantasy romance book, which is definitely the era that I'm in. I don't know why I'm in such a fantasy romance era. It's kind of like a Regency era romance vibe. And it's also very, very short. It's literally 280 pages, so I feel like I should be able to read this quite quickly. I'm planning on doing a 24-hour readathon next Tuesday because I know I have like the whole day to myself, so I feel like that might be fun to do a readathon, and then like this could be the book that I read. So I think my goal before that readathon is that I'm going to try and like make my way through as much of this as I can. I don't think I'm going to finish them, but if I could like make a decent dent into these 2 books, or even one of these books, forget about this book perhaps, but if I could like make it a good way into this, that I could potentially finish it during the readathon, that would slay. If I could finish it before then, great, but I honestly can't see that happening. But anyways, yeah, so today is Friday. I'm off today. It is currently 12 p.m, so I'm literally still in bed. I'm still in my pajamas, but that's fine. That's the vibe of a day off. But I am actually going out this evening. I'm going for some cocktails with my friends, which is very exciting. So I'm gonna start getting ready soon, I think, because I do need to like wash my hair and style my hair, and that takes ages. So I'm gonna start getting ready soon-ish, but until then I'm just gonna read.